Welcome, race fans, to round 3 of the 2016 Canadian Motocross Championships. 4 motos today. MX2 pilots out on the line right now, choosing their gates. This is Calgary's Wild Rose MX Park, the crown jewel of Canadian motocross, a track nestled in downtown Calgary. Presented by Motovan.com, this is the 2016 Rockstar Energy Drink Motocross Nationals. Mark Travers and Brian Coster in the booth get set for some dynamite race action as we see the MX2 pilots going out onto parade. Brian, what a fabulous facility. We talked about it in the opening, the only motocross track in the National Series to be in the downtown core, for crying out loud. Here it is on the Hills video drone.
Great footage here from up above. Here at the bottom of the screen is the Shaw Valley, only used once a year for this Pro National. Off to the left, those big rollers, it's called the International section. You got a dynamic, fast start with a couple dog legs into that big 110-foot tabletop. Great soil at that end of the track, too. There's deep ruts, action for everyone.
Calgary track crew doing a great job getting the moisture into the soil, and a huge crowd funneling into the park today. Fast, let's go back to the wasteland. Last week, round 2, MX2 action. Mark Worth brought up to ride for the injured Jacob Hayes, got the whole shot, but then Medallia went down. He was hurt, Brian. I think he was concussed, did not come back. Then a huge battle between Thompson and Worth. Thompson got the better of that one.
It almost looked like Worth should have been concussed. He was okay. Back to more action in the second moto. Cole Thompson, the Tommy gun. What a hole shot. Moffenbauer gets a little bossy with the new boy 101 Worth. But back to Thompson here, taking another win. Kids on fire. Dylan Wright coming out of that first win at Kamloops, finished third.
Thompson takes the overall in style. Moffenbauer not on the podium. Let's go back and have a look at the points after 2 of 10, Fabs.
Well, Cole Thompson's dominating win-wise with 3, but Moffenbauer right there, riding about the strongest I've ever seen. Lathan Newcomer, Kalen Noddick, Keeson Bro, awesome. Then it's Wright, Gallopin, Frazier.
All right, behind-the-gate scenes as the riders come back from parade. Don't get to see this too often. On board with McCoy, Bruff. Wow, look at how intense it is. MX2 action next. Welcome back to round 3 of the 2016 Rockstar Energy Drink Motocross Nationals. The lovely Rockstar Brooke bringing that Moto 1 board across. My goodness, this is Calgary's Wild Rose MX Park, and there is Sir Paul Kingsley with Julia and Haley. A sight for sore eyes as we see that Rockstar 30 board go up. Let's focus back on the gate, Brian. This first MX2 Moto will be brought to you by RoyalDistributing.com, Canada's power sports leader. And look who's on the inside, number 171, Lalonde. Loves that inside gate pick. He picked that a couple times last week in the Nanaimo.
Yeah, and you mentioned off the top, concrete starting pad. This is the second one of 3 here on the season, and the gate is down. Travis on board with McCoy Bruff, the youngster from Utah. He's got a good start. Nice shot on the 15 of Moffenbauer. Look at on the outside, the 81 at Jared Stock with an awesome start on that 2-stroke FXR Yamaha. He's been riding enduro, for crying out loud.
He almost had the whole shot, Brian, on the inside, now sitting in 3rd place, but the Royal Distributing whole shot, it's gonna go to the number 101 of Mark Worth, and that's 2 out of the last 3 races for him.
He is just an awesome replacement for Jacob Hayes. Look at him getting wide, but still salvaging a great drive out of the corner. This is that international section. Huge floating jumps, and there's Stock now just relegated to 4th. He's got that white enduro oversized gas tank on here. He was making a lot of fun of his motorcycle coming into the start, but no joke in 4th.
Look who goes inside. That's the number 15 of Sean Moffenbauer moving into 4th place. Thompson, the original KTM to get around Stock. And here comes the number 17 of Dylan Wright. So some big names up front early.
Absolutely, but Stock is from around here. Lives only 10 minutes from this Calgary track, so you know he's going to have some lines dialed in. He might even have some little secret lines here and there that he can utilize when this track gets rougher.
Back to a replay of the start. Look at Stock on the outside, hits that berm shot, almost has the whole shot, but then Worth comes through that dynamite Royal Distributing whole shot.
The 70 of Brandon Lath from Salt Lake City, another Utah pilot right up in the front. So a lot of fast, brash Americans up here in Canada. But I'm loving the 15 of Sean Moffenbauer right now, Travis. He's been the bridesmaid to Thompson, and he is riding supremely this year. He is so strong, so fit. I think this is a rider that can really challenge Thompson for the championship.
Well, in this position right here, he is the full danger man. This little 3-pack, if you think about 4 bikes, 2 KTMs chasing 2 Kawasaki's with Leith the privateer.
Yeah, we have seen this quite a bit, these little pair of orange and pair of green. There's Moff on the outside making a play. but boy, is Thompson good at line choice as well, and very strong and so experienced, Travis, coming from all that Supercross racing and all those years. He has plied his trade in the sport of motocross.
Maffenbauer bossy through the under-over, gets by Leith, gets into third place, and we'll see how that little three-pack plays out. Back to this little cluster for seventh. That's the 259 of LaFontaine, the 36 of Fraser, and I thought I saw the 20 of Jess Pettis. Yes, there he is, coming out of the Shaw Valley FXR Yamaha.
LaFontaine having a great ride out of Redlands, California. Oh my goodness, and Pettis gets it wrong on this seemingly simple little single before the over-under. Ooh, that was ugly.
Little kickback on that little tabletop. Maybe sometimes you're thinking about the next move too much, Brian, coming into that under-over. Back to the 15 of Maffenbauer. This three-pack has tightened up through the Toyota switchbacks. Absolutely gorgeous lines through here. Seeing the Tacoma, nice backdrop. There's the number 4 of the Tommy gun.
Nice roostable soil. The faces are very hard, so it is a hard base, but they really churn it up nice. Dylan Wright on that MX-101 FXR Yamaha looking good. Oh, here's Benito. He goes to have a little bit of a scrub to just shake some speed and stay low, but there's a ledge of dirt there. He would have been better off just maybe singling, like over jumping and even flat landing that, because that takes its toll on a rider. The ground is hard. Any way you slice it, that hurts.
Kid's made of rubber, though. He's back up, bounce. Maybe his eyes are wide open now, focusing a little bit. Back to the battle for the lead. The number 101 of Worth has been really showing well, Brian. He hasn't been here a long time, doesn't know these tracks, but has been leading races to the Rockstar Lockoff over the finish line. Let's see what kind of defense he has, because last week he held off a very strong Cole Thompson to the late stages of that first moto.
Yeah, Mark Worth, just 18 years of age, so he's got a bright future ahead of him. Now they're starting to work into some lap traffic. Thompson is following his wheel tracks right now. Cole's the type of rider. Oh, Worth, see that? Just bounces out of that berm, gets up off the track, but just comes out smelling like a rose, keeping Thompson back. But Cole knows it's a long race. He's biding his time, maybe searching some lines, waiting to pounce.
I'm very impressed with Worth on a couple levels, Brian. First of all, a young rider with not a lot of pro experience racing at this level, yet he's been leading races and looking good in that position. He's got dynamite style and good speed. He just needs to relax a little bit, I think.
Well, this is invaluable experience. You know, you go down to the States, once you race pro, there's no turning back. So up here, a great place to get your feet wet in the pro class, get used to those longer motos and racing with more established pro stars. So for Kawasaki and Worth, this is basically a dream come true to come to Canada.
Oh my goodness. Cole Thompson is a visionary out on the track. One of the riders that does not look like he's putting a lot of effort in. Smooth as silk. He rides a lot like Fasciati in that matter.
Look at him make a play now for Worth. He's got his front wheel right up beside. He's getting aggressive now.
Yes.
This is when he makes up his mind, and look at that. Just shoves him wide a little. Maybe that lapper was on Worth's mind, but Cole got right up on the inside, and look how relaxed Cole is.
Yes.
He doesn't ever look like he is flustered, like you say, like Colton.
He put that sealed KTM motor package to good value there, Fabs, on the inside, and that's a sketchy line on the inside because it's not a defined rut coming in there. You kind of have to track your way through that corner. Here it is again.
Yeah, he gets on the outside, so Worth can sense him there. So now Worth kind of wants to cut down in on him and take that inside line away. And did you just see that carve job by Thompson? He takes the inside. Maybe that lapper may or may not have played into the mind of Mark Worth, but that was an aggressive pass by Thompson. And remember, Thompson comes from a huge pedigree, a racing family. His brother has the Frank Fitt Training Academy. They're outside of Sarnia, Ontario, and they've got that whole motocross schools. So this kid comes from the roots of the sport.
Carved it up like a Christmas goose on the inside there for crying out loud. Now Worth has his hands full of the number 15, a little muff. This is for second place, diving down into the Shaw Valley, that nice little roller section before they sweep down into this gorgeous section through here. Tractable dirt in here, Brian, but slippery because it's not moist like it is on the top end.
My favorite part of the racetrack is they only do use it once a year. See how that outside line where Moff could carry speed? It's that those FXR rollers are simply spectacular when they drop away out of the main spectator area. There's a real cool scrub. Then they land in these kind of sandy rollers, and here's where they pop out of the Shaw Valley. This is where Pettis had his situation, but now Maffenbauer is making worse sweat.
Well, he is, and the thing about Maffenbauer right now is he's probing. He pulls in, pushes, and then backs off, and I think it's that type of pressure that Worth needs to get used to. But saying that and doing it are two different things, for crying out loud. When you got Little Muff in tow, things are getting hot.
Well, Muff right now, he's licking his lips. He can smell the position. He's probing left, right. He wants to go right through Wirth right now. It's a white flag, so there is definite pressure on Moffenbauer right now. This is amazing. Wirth, just think of the race he's had. He's held up Thompson. Now he's holding on Moffenbauer. He's got second place for his team. And a last lap, man, by the mechanics area. And a lapper there opens the door. Oh, Travs. Wirth had to get out of it. A lapper right on his line.
Moffenbauer, the capitalist, Brian, through the Toyota switchbacks. It looked like he was looking for that opportunity. Lapper in the way. And Wirth had to pop out of that run, or else he would have run right into the back of him. Here it is again.
Yeah, and now Wirth is trying to get it back, and there Wirth almost ran right into the back of that dude. So that was really a gift for Moffenbauer, but Moffenbauer, I know in the Chauvelli he had a faster line. I think he was waiting for that last quarter lap to make it happen, but that was a gift right there, and that's a racing incident. Poor Mark Wirth, but he's a real positive individual. I know he'll rebound from this, and hey, he's still got a half a lap left to make it back.
A lot of experience for Moffenbauer, you're right. He probably had that pass set up in his mind at a different spot, but then you have to take the opportunity when it presents itself to the number 4, Cole Thompson, on his final approach, looking fantastic. Made a huge pass on Wirth to get into the lead, and now is in total control, Brian. We're looking at 4 moto wins in a row for crying out loud.
As you would say, Travs, gorgeous.
Welcome back to Calgary's Wild Rose MX Park. Hey, little Mikey, he likes the Tundra toss. Let's get to our top 10, brought to you by Yamaha First MX2 Moto. Of course, Thompson's your winner. Great ride for Dylan Wright to get into 4th, LaFontaine 5th, Leith, Pettis after the crash, Keast, Frazier, and Noddet. Fabulous, so take it.
Redemption Racing rider Sean Moffenbauer. Boy, did you have the crowd on the edge of their seats that moto, buddy. A late moto pass, tried last lap to make a move by Wirth, dude. That was awesome.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun out there battling, but I was pumped that last lap pass. That was huge for me, so I just kept the pressure on Mark out there, and you know, we just came up to that lapper that it fell in, and I just took the better line, and unfortunately he went out in the mud, but just pumped to put the big steel box KTM back up on the podium, and hopefully we'll see you up here next time.
Well, Mark, of course, all these tracks are new for you, and you've got great style on the bike. You're showing great speed. You got to be really stoked with it so far. How has your experience been in Canada?
It's been great, you know, the racing's great, the people are great, you know, the environment's awesome, the weather, everything's great, so I've just been enjoying it, having a good time, and trying to learn from every race. The tracks are definitely different for me, and so it's a learning process, you know, hopefully just get better and better every race, and see what we can do by the end of the season.
Okay, MX1 pilots and staging, and look at this lineup, Fabs. We go from Millsaps to Metcalf, to Fasciotti, to Gurkey, to Benoit, to Medaglia, to Freezy. This is what a talented MX1 lineup is all about, and the boys are on the line. You know, I forgot about Alessi, for crying out loud. Sheesh. So these guys have picked their gate picks, and they're getting ready to go out on parade. So as we get set for MX1 action, why don't we pick up last week with a little review of what happened at round 2 at the Wastelands.
Well, Brett Metcalf gets an uncustomary hole shot, the big number 3 Ocean Transportation Yamaha out front, but it's the 118, the boss man, Millsaps, gets by early.
Here's the big story though, Brian. The Red Cross flag came out in the first moto early. Millsaps and Gorky jumped on that red flag, and then they got docked 10 positions. They didn't know that until the end of the moto. Of course, Metcalf did not, and then he had his issues in that moto. Benoit with a broken chain, things all akimbo. That gave Alessi, who was sitting second, the win.
Yeah, Alessi, man, that guy is rock solid as well. I don't think really getting the due he deserves. Metcalf nails that second hole shot, the Triple Crown, 1,200 big bucks in his pocket, compliments of Royal D. But out front, it's Millsaps. Class of the field again.
Fasciotti had the lead for a little while, but then he takes the overall with that docking of Millsaps and Gorky. So here are the points right now as we head into round 3. Fasciotti, Millsaps, Alessi, Metcalf, and Gorky. That's your top 5.
Then we've got Clayson, who showed so well in Supercross. Medallion hanging tough. Meston, a new face in the top 10. Then Benoit and Kuba.
Well, there's no question that tensions are still running a little high with Millsaps and Gorky based on that docking, but today is a brand new race day. MX1 pilots heading out onto parade for their first moto. 3 gorgeous Rockstar models. This place is ready to rip it up. This is the 2016 Rockstar Energy Drink Motocross Nationals. Mark Travers and Brian Koster in the booth for MX1 Moto1. Thank you, Rockstar Brooke, for bringing that gorgeous board across. And a pair of ice-cold Rockstar girls out with Sir Paul Kingsley. Haley's got the 30 board up. This first MX1 Moto will be brought to you by Toyota Canada, makers of the 2016 Tacoma. Doing test drives out here today, fabulous. Loving every minute of it.
Just awesome to have Toyota on board, and the test driving, a huge hit here in Calgary. They got the Pee-wee track all geared up to drive a Tacoma or Tundra, but look at this, Trouts. 5-second board, Tyler Medaglia right on the inside, Riley Brough, and then his Fat Yodes.
Concrete starting pad riders off the line. Remember, different start this year. MX1 switchback coming into the Royal Distributing hole shot. Oh my goodness, little pile up, but it's the number 55. That's Vinsanity. Vince Friese with the Royal Distributing hole shot.
He had it, but the 118 of Millsaps gets by quickly, and Millsaps was our pole setter here today. Remember, Vince was the pole setter at the first 2 rounds, very aggressive on his Kawasaki, then teammate Alessi. Then we've got the 11 of Benoit, then Fasciati, the factory Husqvarna of Tyler Medaglia. So some key players up front, Travis, but where are the Yamahas of Metcalf and Gerke?
Did not see Metcalf come around the first corner. There's Gerke there. It looks like he's about 6th place. It's really nice to see Vince up here battling. Oh, what a cutback on the inside of that Honda corner as he takes care of his teammate. Alessi very aggressive on the outside, bouncing through that inside line on that right-hander is a difficult one, Brian.
Well, Alessi made a quick pass, and now I saw a little handwork for Vince. I don't know if he was signaling, okay, go, or I know he's had a lot of clutch issues, so he's been messing with that clutch a lot in midair. On board with KTM, Sean Robinson. Look at that timing for Alessi, and right there on the other side of the doghouse is Vince Friese. Those guys are unreal. It almost looks like he may have jumped the gun early, but that gate did move. And Alessi, what a wicked jump, but then Friese gets that Royal Distributing hole shot.
And of course, Millsaps very quickly with a dynamite start again gets into the lead, and here is the kingpin, the number 118 Thor KTM of Davey Millsaps. Look at the size of the big man coming out of the Shaw Valley in total control.
He is just a joy to watch. I mean, there's so many good riders up here. DSAPS has kind of shown his dominance early on in this season, and these riders are keeping him honest, but Davey just seems to be able to kick it up a notch when he needs to.
The number 1 of Matt Gerke going inside on Tyler Medaglia as they drop into that EBC up part of the Shaw Valley. A nice line for Gerke. Tyler's got to tighten it up there. It was like a 3-car garage was wide open on that one.
It is a wide, big track here. There is a few sections very good for passing.
Look at that leg work source.
Yeah, he's just riding the machine. And what a pedigree again for Millsaps with the MTF training facility and just championships in the U.S. and just a joy to have him in Canada, but boy, is he ever putting the learning curve on the rest of the field.
Here's that pass again, Brian. You talked about how wide it is in some sections.
And that is the pass is made where he just tucks it in tight, gets that front end of the Yamaha to bite. So that is the rider's skill to be able to be really confident on that front end. And you can see Gerke plow that front end a bit till it bit. So that's showing he's got supreme confidence in the motorcycle. And here's one of my favorite parts, these rollers, Travs, lots of action here. And it's Fat Yotes able to make a play on Benoit.
Benoit slipped a little wide. He was running that high line through those FXR rollers. Woo. That opened the door for Fasciati on the inside. Oh my goodness, and you look how aggressive Fasciati is when he wants to be, grabbing a handful of that CRF 450.
When you see the motorcycles make a reaction like that where they kind of get abrupt and stop, that is really an area where a lesser rider could throw it away. These guys have the strength and the ability to hang on to it. Look at him throw it in there. A lot of aggression from Colton Fasciati. And I mean, he is just a beautiful specimen to watch ride a motorcycle as well.
The number 1 of Matt Gerke is keeping this little trio close. Of course, Fasciati now tucking away. You can see he's got 2 seconds, but here comes Gerke up on Benoit through that up section into the TCX Insider. Some dynamite ruts in there, it's extremely rough. Oh my, and look how bossy that pass was coming back down into the valley. Holy.
Super aggressive going on that inside, using the bumps to its advantage. Here he is. Benoit thinks he's got the inside, but there's that new little sneaky line right through that TCX boots. Right, Yamaha downhill, and this gets in front of him. Benoit's got to chop out of the throttle a bit because, like we've seen in previous years.
Oh,
nice!
Contact out on the track, Brian. We haven't seen a lot of contact in the MX1 class so far, and that is the big shoulder in the number 2 of Colt Tion Fasciati, holding off the number 1 of Matt Gerke. Nana Gerke says Gerke, it's Gerke, and the 55 of Vince Friese, who's in 3rd place. So still holding strong right now in the podium position.
Freezy's been kind of alone for a while, but this race here has driven Fasciotti and Gehrke right up to his back fender. If we look at Alessi, he's kind of all alone in second, gapped to Millsaps, but this is the race right now. Colton Fasciotti has caught right up to the 55 of Vince Friese. They've gapped Gehrke a little bit here now, so this is all about the number 2 through these FXR rollers. Fasciotti going right through the middle. Oh, and look at that front end plow. Yes. And there he is off track through those Motul banners, a little enduroing, and now where is Gerkman?
Gerkman on the inside. He cut right up to look at that. More contact out of the track. Matt Gehrke is very aggressive today, Brian. You knew that he was angry coming in because of that detail last week. Not happy to the 118 to Millsaps.
Well, that is Friese of old, man. That is the way Friese has kind of built his reputation. He's such a nice guy, but when the helmet's on, he's going to take every advantage, as you should. So a very good defensive move, and that was well within Friese's boundaries.
100%. That is a racing incident, no question about it.
Here it
Back
is.
to that battle for third place, the number 55 of Vincenzo Friese, what they call him. Vince, oh, the little look back over the finish line to Gehrke, and Benoit has cut up to this fray as well.
Oh, we have got ourselves a party for third through the Toyota switchbacks. Great part of the track. Excellent crowd here at the Wild Rose MX Park in Calgarians. They know their motocross. They love and embrace this facility, and such a great group of people running this. But look at the Gehrke. Look at the legwork on Gehrke, and he's got the gas on. What an awesome racetrack. But look who it is, Benoit, over jumping right there. He wants a piece of this action.
Full danger man Benoit is. Oh my, the inside cutback for the number 1 of Matt Gehrke. Wow, you know, you lose focus for 1 second or pop out of the desired line like Friese did. Next thing you know, the number 1 plated ex-champion comes in, steals it from you.
If you make a mistake up here running with these guys, you're gonna pay the price. And there's Friese, gets right in that rut just for a second there, gets his front end in there plowing, dabs the foot, and bam, Friese is right through. But it's the 11, the rivalry between Benoit and Friese that runs so deep from their MX2 days. They plainly hate each other.
Well, they do, but they haven't gotten together on the track yet, which is really what we want to see. I mean, keep emotions aside and leave it on the track. That's what we like to say about these types of riders.
Yeah.
Oh my, the number 3 of Brett Metcalf has got on the gas and caught up to the number 2 of Colton Fasciotti. Look at that inside line for Medi as he bosses Fasciotti. A little taste of his own medicine to that outside line. I don't like that outside line through that section.
I think Colton maybe spooked himself when he was on that charge and lost that front wheel. Maybe he's now not quite as comfortable. The track getting choppy, and it is slippery underneath where you don't have that dark moisture. And look at that blue groove face. It's sketchy out there, and you fall, it's gonna hurt. Just ask Jess Pettis from that MX2 incident.
The number 800 of Mike Alessi in a strong second place. Then we have Gehrke, Friese, Benoit. That little concoction's tight as they get their last lap flag. And there is the number 3 of Metcalf and Fasciotti. So that top 6 is really clustered.
Yeah, there's only a couple seconds between them all, but out front, the KTM Canada 4 Superstar, a late addition to the series, a huge history, off in the US for a couple seasons. This made him more attractive to come to Canada, reignite that love of riding, and I think when you see Davey off track, he's smiling, he's relaxed. I think he's back to loving riding his dirt bike, and hey, who doesn't like to win?
Nail on the head, Fabs. It's about winning and regaining confidence that's already there. Taking the checkered flag in the first MX1 moto here from Wild Rose MX Park. A lot of fans up here seeing Millsaps, Fabs take that Yamaha leaderboard top 10.
That was a pretty interesting moto. Alessi, Gehrke, Cheesy, Benoit, Metcalf. We got Fat Yotes who struggled a bit. Then Medalia, Clayson, and Morgan Berger takes 10th.
Let's talk about total dominance. The number 118 of Davey Millsaps taking care of business. 2 corners from the whole shot, led wire to wire. Davey, that was a spectacular race, and I think this track suited your style without a question.
Yeah, you know, it was definitely good. I was pumped to get a good start on concrete. You know, this last weekend was the first time in a long time, and you know, I actually thought this weekend was dirt, so I didn't practice concrete at all this week. But no, I felt great. The track was difficult, man. It's definitely reminds me a lot of Unadilla back in the States, and you know, deep ruts and you know, choppy areas that don't really make sense, but all in all, you know, I thought it was a good race for sure.
The number 1 of Matt Gehrke had to make a few passes to get into third, but a real dominant ride out there in that position. Very aggressive. You had to be aggressive on that track to make passes out there, didn't you, Matt?
Yeah, it was really one line, so I had to try to come up with my own stuff to make passes. did the best I could. I mean, I passed a few people, considering how the track was. I just need to get a better start.
Great to see that Monster Energy Kawasaki and Vince Friese get the World Distributing Hole Shot. MX2 Moto2 coming up. Welcome back to Calgary's Wild Rose Park in round 3 of the 2016 Rockstar Energy Drink Motocross Nationals. MX2 Moto2 on the line as the lovely Haley brings the board across. Sir Paul Kingsley, knighted in Rolton, England, out on his perch, getting that watch ready as we settle into the second MX2 Moto. Brian, track is probably the nicest I've seen it in a long time. Dynamite lines in the corners. Of course, those big floaters, and one of the sweetest starting pads there is in the country. Nicely covered concrete. The second MX2 Moto will be brought to you by Yamaha Motor Canada. Rev your heart, Brian. Let's get this thing going.
There's Casey Keast, the 217, finished very well in that first moto. He's our top Pro-Am rider, and we also want to watch out for the 259 of Californian LaFontaine, who got a great finish in that first MX1 moto here in Calgary. Trav's gotta love this. 5 sideways, RPMs are up. Kingsley getting the heck out of the way. That gate is down, Trav's a long shoot. Who's gonna get that Royal Distributing Hole Shot?
The left-hand sweeper looks like the number 18 of Brad Nada, but no, the 101 of Mark Worth on that Alpinstars Monster Energy Kawasaki with the Royal Distributing Hole Shot, and that gives him the triple crown in the MX2 class.
Man, that was by half a knobby, but look at the number 4 of Tommy Gun Thompson. A few bullets right into Nada there, into second through the Kawasaki left hand. Altered this section a bit this year. I love the way it's laid out. A little one line here into the right, but the whole pack running through a few guys up in the rhubarb. Oh, Gallup 69. He has issues, catches a leg on that inside mount, tore him right off the bike. He looks good in that FXR gear, even though it's a little soiled.
Lead package through the Honda Talladega corner into this button hook right-hander. Thompson swinging out wide, carrying speed. Oh my goodness, accelerating out of the corner and then cutting off the line for Worth and making a pass on the over-under. What a great one.
What an aggressive pass on the opening lap. Thompson didn't want to fall around and get pummeled with roost. We didn't talk about it in the first motos, but the roost out here punishing. It comes off the back tire of the bike in front of you and just peppers you with little bruises. There goes Leith on the inside, and Nada. 2 Americans dicing hard. Look at the back end of that Honda all over the place. He's got the advantage on the inside, but Leith just shuts the door, and Nada always sweeping wide here. It's a little smoother. That's his line. He just lost a position.
Very choppy track, Brian. We have to mention that they are running it backwards from the way they normally run it, and it's interesting to see the way the lines are developing. Back to that Worth Triple Crown hole shot. Not it looked good, but then, oh my goodness, Worth gets right in there by that knobby.
I like the 71 of young McCoy Brough there on the outside, hitting that same line that Jared Stock hit in that first moto and just bouncing out. So a reasonably good stop for Brough, but a scary moment all at the same time.
Second MX2 moto leader, that's the number 4 of Cole Thompson, as we go back to the battle for 4th place. The number 18 of Brad Nada on that Scotty Motorsports Honda, followed by the amateur rider, that's the 217 of the Fox Brigade, Casey Keast, who's been looking really fast so far this season, Brian. I like what I see from that young kid.
Yeah, 8th in the first moto, Trav's the first Pro-Am rider, and he has coined the next big thing. And just 17 years of age, you can see Nada on the outside, a big plume of dirt, got that front wheel and the soft stuff, but on the inside of TXX boots, Shaw Valley, there goes the 17. What a brash pass, or pass attempt, and he gets it.
Nada was trying to cut back her in the bottom of that valley, and again, Brad Nada is a clean rider, Brian. I think he probably could have been a little bit more aggressive with Keast there, but held his line, let Keast make his move, back it off, come back, get another day. To our leader, the number 4, the Tommy Gun, up through the Honda banners, checking right back to 2nd place, Worth, and 3rd place, Brandon Leith, who was getting a motor package done up by the Monster Energy Kawasaki team. So Team Green keeping their guys together.
Yeah, and Luke Couette from C4MX building those engines. So a great opportunity for Leith, and he's well deserving of that help. Back to Brad Nada. He's battling with Moffenbauer. Moffenbauer didn't get the start he desired in this moto, but he has been charging incrementally, and now he's making life very difficult for Brad Nada on that Scotty's Honda.
Moffenbauer was 9th after the first lap, so Brian, you're right. He did not get a good start, but you know what Moffenbauer's like? Very determined and getting down to business as soon as that gate drops.
Oh, and my favorite part, there it is!
Nice.
He goes up on the left on those rollers, and when you're up on that bank, you actually miss a critical roller, and you actually get such an advantage. And I've been watching Moffenbauer sneaking around there, and what a pass! I thought there was no way he was gonna get knotted right there. What a heads-up move. Oh, here it is.
There it is.
He's up. Okay, this is just the tail end of it. He gets up on that ledge, misses that last bump, and just cuts right in. Nada's like, what happened?
It's about timing, though. When does the cutback happen off of that top line? And you're right, an experienced rider knows when to knife inside, and that's what Maffenbeier did.
Boy, and it sure looked like Noddet was having some good defense there, but he just had to roll out of the throttle. And we see some gray skies, Chaz. An odd day here, sun, some rain, a little bit of drizzle, but the crowd had just come out to support this great event, and now we got Bluebird skins. There's that wall. You can see Moffy get up on the side.
Yes, and
he wants to use it again, and he does on Keys. So that line, man, if they run this track like this in this direction next year, you riders, keep your eye out. That's a sneaker.
Well, it's one of those situations, too, where you're Casey Keys, where you just sit back and you go, okay, point taken, I get it.
Maffenbeier, I get it.
I get it. I'll be back there next year.
I can learn from Maffenbeier. No shame.
To the Yamaha over-under, Brian, as we see the number 70 of Brandon Leith come through. Oh, look at this. Mark Worth has had an issue. He's fallen back to third place, and here comes little Muffin Toe.
Muffin is so good on this track. I like he's taking that inside rut through the hit case, right-hander through the trees. Now they come back out to the big gallery for the spectators. They get such a good eyeful of the action here in Calgary. Great ample areas to walk around to get a view of this track. Worth, no easy rider to pass, but now Muffin on the inside gets a nose in and makes it stick.
Through the Toyota switchbacks, Brian, aggressively got into the inside over the finish line tabletop, and that was the line of choice because it brings you inside into the Toyota switchbacks.
Boy, oh boy, Sean Maffenbeier is such a strong rider. I'd have to say he's probably the strongest guy in the field right here. I think if they were doing an Ironman challenge, he'd be a hard guy to beat. He's a bit of a rip show, and we've seen his strength in the past, you know, picking up those muddy bikes, and he's just unbelievable.
Steely determination too, Brian, and that's the thing, when you get an experienced veteran in this young class, because Maffenbeier's not a young kid like some of these other guys, but he knows how to ride the bike and handle stress too. That's what I like about experience.
We've seen in the past, Maffenbeier, you know, like Kamloops, he was leading on the last lap, popped out of that rut, and he's been the bridesmaid so much. If he can just start to get some wins consistently and his confidence just up one notch, I think it's going to be curtains for a lot of these guys. What a move on Leith, but Leith not lying down and quitting. That's why the Monster Kawasaki squad wants a piece of him under their tent.
No doubt, but Maffenbeier was taking a super rough line coming into that right-hander. It didn't look like he had any opportunity at all, but then made it work. Unbelievable pass to the number 4, our leader Cole Thompson on that Thor-backed KTM Canada bike, looking spectacular in the lead. Brian, if he gets this will be 5 moto wins in a row.
I think that white and black semi-zebra striped with the orange looks so good out on track. You can really see him out there all around this beautiful Calgary track, but the battle for third is a pair of Kawasaki's. And T, we've seen these guys in this position several times this year. They're getting great starts, and these guys are a key ingredient as they work through the Toyota switchbacks around by the mechanics area. Let's see what Worth has got.
Very impressed with both of these riders, but Worth especially, because coming into a situation where everything's new, Brian. Leith's already ridden up in Canada, he kind of knows the scene. Worth doesn't know anything, so he's just eyes wide open, but consistency is the name of his game.
One thing Worth does know, and that's pinning, because he's been doing just that up here, and he keeps the gas on. We can see such great battling backed by that Pro Circuit 110-footer, but out front, it's the Tommy gun, Thor Kawasaki, just lapping up some more gravy in first place.
Well, Thompson rode the MX1 class year, Brian. We talked about it a number of times, and then the team decides to bring him down because, of course, he was riding the 250 in Supercross, and it seemed like a great idea because you bring an experienced pilot down there to take Benoit's lead. Gets the checkered flag and now gets the clean sweep, Brian. An unbelievable day for KTM.
Love Cole Thompson's fender tap in midair on the checkers to the Yamaha leaderboard, not at 5th, but a great ride for Pettis. And how about teammate right there? Keast first Pro-Am, then LaFontaine and Marcus Nielsen up from Florida.
You know what I'm seeing from you is that we talked about the mentoring from JSR. JSR was a classic sprinter. You're sprinting now, Cole. I like that.
Yeah, no, JSR told me, that first moto didn't go the way I wanted it to, and I think you could see it in my face. I wasn't happy with it, and we went back to the rig, we talked, and just corrected a few little mistakes, and that was what it took. I know JSR's been here, done that, and that's what I need is the help and guidance from him, and as long as we can keep it going, I think it's going to be a good year.
The bike that always seems to be in the mix is the number 70 of Brandon Leith. What a dynamite ride for you, Brandon. You're just all hard out there, buddy. You held off Worth at the end. Third place in that second moto. You look great.
Yeah, it was a good race. I got a good start, which was nice. I've been getting kind of rough starts up here, but I got a good start, and that was great. And then I went down, picked it back up, got a little tight, but I held him off, and that was great, and I'm real happy.
So the MX2 points after 3 of 10, only 11 points separating Moffenbauer Thompson. Leach sitting nicely in third, and then a huge cluster all the way down to McCoy Bruff in 9th, and Talon LaFontaine in 10th. Marky Worth getting his Royal Distributing hole shot check, and there's your top 3 overall in the day. Worth in third, then Muffenbauer and Cole Thompson. Final MX1 moto coming up. Welcome back to round 3 of the 2016 Rockstar Energy Drink Motocross Nationals. Mark Travers and Brian Coster in the booth as we get set for the final moto of the day. This is MX1 Moto 2. Hello, Haley. How you doing? Rockstar Julia getting set to throw that 30 board up, and there it goes. Sir Paul Kingsley at his perch as we head back to the line. This second MX1 moto will be brought to you by Toyota Canada, and that gorgeous Tundra that we have out on the track in that 2016 Tacoma they're doing up with the test drives there today as Julia goes to 5 fabs.
Wow, I don't know what I want to look at more, those trucks or those girls, but look at the number 5. Back on the inside, then it's Yotes, then it's the number 1 of Kirkman. The gate is down, tries a long dragways. Like this left hand is at the 11. Benoit on the outside, stares at Royal Distributing hole shot.
That's the first Royal Distributing hole shot of the season for the number 11 of Calvin Benoit. Brian, we did have a huge cluster of riders go down in the first turn, so we'll have to get abridged of what's going on there. Millsaps on the inside, down into the Cowie corner. An extremely rough line, but he makes it work for him and gets into the lead past his teammate. Let's see if Calvin can hook up now, find some lines, and keep pace. A pair of Kawasaki's, Metcalf with a dynamite line, and how about the number 26 of Riley Bruff? Awesome to see him up in the top 10.
And that is his little brother, McCoy, in MX2, the 71 Honda. So great to see a couple brothers from Utah battling up front. Millsaps made that move up in that light dirt where not many riders are going. Like you said, that rough section. And you look at those KTM riders, they get along great under the tent, so I know Millsaps wants to help Benoit along and kind of mentor him.
The battle is now for 4th place between the number 55 of Vince Sandydial at Monster Energy, Alpinstars Kawasaki, and the number 3, that is the Rockstar Yamaha, Brett Metcalf, who's getting faster, Brian. Oh. There's that outside line that you like, and the cutback, not yet.
Metcalf thought he could make it work. Freezy read it well and blocks the line, but now Medi on the inside through the EBC down here. Look at all that drop. See him just bounce and land down there. That is a ballsy pass by the OC Formula.
Wow, that is an absolutely outstanding pass when you really have to lay it on the line fast. That's what I love about that inside cutback line. It's rough and it's not defined. That's what I like about it.
And it all comes down to confidence in your tires as well. And there's Bastiani up the inside. So now Vince Freezy, who's just been riding so well, loses 2 positions in a quarter track. Freezy, super aggressive this year. Back to a replay of the start. Freezy's right in tow of the 11. Rest of the field follows through, and a few guys going up into rhubarb.
Let's go on board with the 27 to Sean Robinson and see if we can pick up what happened off the start there, Brian. Looks like Rodder's funneling into the corner. Nicely slowed it. Oh my! Clayson gets together with Gerke, and then he goes right down and cleans out that whole outside edge.
Jeez, that was ugly, and now Robinson is down hard. And I believe what happened was Gerke's front end got into the back of Morgan Berger, and that kind of pushed him over. Did you just see that domino effect of carnage?
D. Saps, the kingpin out front with his teammate, the number 11. That's Calvin Benoit in second, and the number 800 of Mike Gillespie, probably the fastest rider next to Millsaps on any track out here right now. And all of our big guys, this is like Game of Thrones out here, Brian, with all these big-name pilots.
Oh, man, and now out wide is the number 5 of T-Dags, Tyler Medaglia with Riley Bruff. So look at that line choice there. I think this is 7th place, and I think it is Medaglia. What an aggressive move. Hats off to Riley Bruff, the 26 rider. This is good 3rd, maybe 4th year up in Canada, so he's getting the lay of the land, but Medaglia just a little too strong in this instance.
Tyler needs to get out and get going quicker. Those passes for 7th and 8th place are tiring him and slowing him down. He needs to get up with this package and run with the big boys. There's that cutback again. Alessi using it on the number 11 of Calvin Benoit. I cannot believe how many times that line has come into play today. And look at Benoit hacking off the 800 of Alessi. This is great motocross racing right here.
This is stuff I like to see. Benoit on that inside through that Motul TCX boots. Drop away. Aggressive riding from the number 11, but here comes the 800. They're neck and neck. And oh, not to be denied. Did you see Alessi jump out of there? That was gorgeous.
Coming into the season, we knew Mike Alessi was going to be fast. Let's face it, he was one of the favorites for the championship, but he's been consistently fast since the beginning of the season. Remember, on a brand new motorcycle, he's never ridden the Kawasaki before.
Hey man, that is a great point. He was on that Suzuki for long, then on Honda, and then Freezy, his teammate, also on that Honda for a long time, both making the transition to that all-new 2016 KX450. Now, I've rode that bike. It's a pretty sweet package, but there's still a lot of nuances that you got to get acclimatized to when you're used to one brand for so long.
To the number 1 of Matt Gerke, making passes now and getting back into the fray. He's got the number 21. That is Kyle Swanson. Oh, and he switches back and takes the position from Swanson just outside the top 10. I tell you what, Gerke has to be just furious right now underneath the bucket.
Well, that was the first turn incident. That pushes you back. You got by the 21 of Swanson, and out front, Millsap's having it all his own way. And back to Swanson, looks like he got his graphics from the Kazakhstan dollar store, or maybe at Home Hardware, maybe the TSC.
Did you see the number 800, Mike Alessi, using that line you talked about up on the wall through the FXR rollers, and it's working because it's very smooth.
There's Medi up on that wall, making a play on Benoit. Look at Benoit skipping this way and that. Suspension starts to get hot. Look at the power slide by Medi up the inside. Not to be denied. Medi's loving this area to make passes.
Without a doubt, and the thing is that that's an experienced eye, Metcalf, and once you find something that works, it can work again, especially when you saw Benoit slide to the outside, and I don't like that outside line as much.
Well, Metcalf is larger than life, and here in Canada, just a great personality on and off track. He's a clean rider, and I know a lot of respect from the other riders, so that says a lot.
Here comes the number 118, Davey Millsap's KTM. Yeah, look at the leg work out there as he gets into that high-banked Honda corner, looking fantastic in the lead, Brian.
Boy, does he look good on the motorcycle. I can't even believe it. We could just have a camera on him the whole race, and I'd be fully entertained. This is 10th place now. Gerke's come way back, gets up on the inside of Riley Brough, kind of makes it a bit easier. He's going to get himself a face full of Gerke sauce here right about now when he steps on the gas.
Boy, the line choice down in that Cowie corner, it's up for grabs because there's no real clean line down there. You got to bounce and choose and really muscle your way through that part of the track.
Great point, Travis, and that's kind of indicative of this whole Calgary circuit. It is a tough, gnarly track. Like, look at these ruts. It doesn't have those, traditional roughness, but there's a lot of chop. Thank goodness they've got these huge jumps to get a little breather in the air. Alessi, a quiet second. He's having a good day.
Fasciati with a peek on the inside of Benoit, a quarter before the finish as they come up to the finish line and get their white flag, Brian. This is the last lap.
Well, Colton is another great Canadian rider that is very polite on track. He can get bossy. He knows Calvin quite well. He's going to have to get pretty snarly, I think, if he wants to make a pass. There's a lot of lappers right now, so an ample opportunity for the Gopher Dunes Honda to get a wheel in there. Talking of Gopher Dunes Honda, his teammate, Medallia, didn't ride at all in MX2, so he's out with that head injury. Colton has to hold up that Honda Honor right now.
Think about it, too. Those are the fastest two Canadian riders right now. If you're thinking about the big boy class, you got Fasciati and you got Benoit, and Benoit has really shown well after moving up from the MX2 class. He's fantastic.
Agreed, 100%. He's just been a dynamic rider on track. Teammate Millsaps right now, he's totally on cruise control. He's got only a few more corners to go, but back to the battle for 5th place. It is Fat Yost pressuring through the Yamaha Shaw Valley. Lappers there, Travis. It can still happen.
Benoit in 4th, Fasciati in 5th. Things are still close with a couple corners to go as we head back to our leader. That's the number 118, Davey Millsaps. 1 corner to go on his final approach, and he will take the checkered flag and the clean sweep here at the Wild Rose MX Park in Calgary. The 118 is in control, dominating fashion. Fans love it here. Coming back with the podium next. Welcome back to Calgary's Wild Rose MX Park in the impound. Millsaps and Metcalf having a little post-race discussion. Let's get to our Yamaha leaderboard, second FS1 Moto results. Millsaps, Alessi, and Metcalf, your top 3. Benoit and Fasciati battling hard for 4th. Freezy, Medallia, Gorky all the way back to 8th. Clayson and Keelan Meston.
118, Davey Millsap, factory KTM. 2 seconds off the start, but quickly into the lead for a pair win. The clean sweep, Davey. Looks like you're just having a ball out on the racetrack, riding your own race every time.
Yeah, you know, it's definitely helps getting good starts. I didn't feel like that was a good one to come out with, but you know, I snuck around the inside and you know, made second stick. But you know, my teammate Kevin, he was on me. I was hoping he was going to follow me through the whole main event. But you know, he's riding great, and you know, I just want to thank KTM Thor Racing, and it's been fun. You know, except for last weekend with the whole docking and stuff like that. But you know, I made sure that, you know, I was very aware of the flags this weekend, and you know, all in all, it's in my books, I've only lost one moto so far this year in my books, so that's all that matters to me.
Yeah, Mike, you've got a lot of experience racing against Davey in the U.S., and he's definitely on a level there. There's some confidence there, and what's it going to take, you think, other than start, to beat Davey now that he's on such a tear?
Well, I always believe in momentum is a key thing, and right now he has that, and the only way to stop him is to start in front of him, beat him, and start chipping away at that points lead. And he's riding very good right now. He's in a zone where he can ride fast and be consistent, but not make mistakes. And I've been there before. It takes a lot of preparation, hard work, dedication, and we're going to get there. We're chipping away. I'm getting better and better here, learning more about the bike each week. So I'll see you guys at Regina.
National number 3, Brett Metcalf, 6th in that first moto, 3rd in that moto. Brett, you really earned that position. You've proved to be such a class act both on and off the track. Your preparation is second to none. It must really feel good for you to be on the podium for your team.
Anytime you can get up in the podium on this deep a field is good. So, you know, the Rockstar OTSFF Yamaha team giving me everything I need. And, you know, I'm going through a little bit of growing pains, learning the bike, new team. 3 rounds in, I think I've learned a lot, progressed. You know, and one more round to the break. So my goal is to kind of get everything sorted out and ready to go for the last half. But I'm happy with 3rd overall today and the 3rd in the moto, and just keep clawing away.
So the MX1 points after 3 of 10. Davey Millsap will run red into Regina. Alessi and Fasciotti, your top 3. Like to see Medaglia, Meston, Morgan Berger now in the top 10.
Nicely done, Travis. A great look at the skyline and a good-looking podium here. Our top 3 on the day. Remember to like the CMRC MX Facebook page, and don't forget to go to mxnationals.ca for all the goodies.
You have been watching the 2016 Rockstar Energy Drink Motocross Nationals, presented by Motovan.com, Canada's source for your power sports parts and accessories. For Brian Coster, I'm Mark Travers. Get ready for a little champagne shower, Millsap style saucing. See you in Regina.